Go Stella B.
BB Bar in masked illusion, her pencil brow furrowed deep in application, face adorning what she cannot conceal, captivating that ultimate optical delusion. A white god's mistake, a black messiah's correction, she blends in hard at social inclusion. Mac fresh and opaque set with bashful blush against non-flushed cheeks. Ruby lips, smack at mirrors they never hit. BB is a myth, miss forgetful, misrepresented, miss neglectful, miss rejected, miss exotic fantasy, miss super aggressive. Missing her fallen crown, misdirected to eyes lowered, head down. Blues and reds smeared across her dresser, armed with Max Factor contour tricks and concealer, dressed in heavy artillery to access white space. BB battles daily to deconstruct her race. A beautiful mirage in a hostile place, wearing flowers as camouflage against a barren landscape. She fist fights mahogany tones, redesigns her facial bones, bowing to the architect of reconstruction. Watch her confidence break down in self-demolition.
Thank you. Viewers, that was Stella B with a snippet of her poem Voyage, part of a series of beautiful poetical performances and a film called Beauty Wears Many Masks. We're also joined by Nat Nye. Welcome to both of you.
Greetings.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Welcome. Thank you.
Good
Welcome
vibes.
to you. Sorry, welcome to you viewers as well to Good Vybz Solutions. Again, our special guests today are Nat Nye and Stella B. Can you tell us a bit about yourselves, please?
Yeah, so that was, as you said, first of all, thanks for having us. Very glad to be here. And that was a snippet from Beauty Wears Many Masks, a short poetry film, my first debut film, which was looking at just self-confidence as a black woman and understanding that we've kind of been told or we've learned that we are not the beauty ideal. And it's a three-part poem, which by the end of we are looking at the empowerment of understanding that we are very beautiful. Um, I'm a spoken word artist, singer, songwriter. Um, I've been reignited to join back into the world of the arts through my partner here, Nat Nye. When we first met, I was still working as a youth worker, and I find that the arts is a better way of reaching and with a message to the young people that I've been working with. So I'm really pretty much from the beginning of this journey, but I'm really loving it.
Okay, and yourself now?
Where do I start?
Anyway,
Okay, so
uh,
I'm Nat Nye, the lyrical alchemist. That's what I do. Um, I call it lyrical alchemy for a number of reasons. Primarily because I feel as artists we have the ability and the power to reflect society or the world accurately and also to cast a vision for the future. So I take this a gift that I've been given, a divine gift, as something that has been passed down through the centuries or through the millennia, through ancient traditions. So I take it very, very seriously. So there comes with being an artist responsibility, which I've just mentioned. And when I call it lyrical alchemy, I'm just tapping into the ability as an artist to actually carry out, yeah, reflecting the world or, you know, casting out a vision for the future, either positive or negative. I choose to use it in a positive fashion. And also, it's just the magic of words, like the ability to, alchemy is the transformation from one element to another. So, taking a word or a phrase or, you know, syllables, sounds, or whatnot, and turning it into something is alchemy. So that's why I call it lyrical alchemy, and I'm a master of this, so that's why I call myself a lyrical alchemist. But yeah, I've been doing this for a while now, so
The
music and
justified. Hearing Nat Nye's spoken piece at the end of this interview, so you know when you hear that delivery, you know why he's a lyrical alchemist. I wanted to, you actually led into my next question for to help the viewers understand your, you know, what are your passions and your purpose. But before you both give some insights into that, I wanted for you to expand on Beauty Wears Many Masks. And I wanted to get, you know, basically, you know, why, what the core of what was inspired by that in your experience, StellaBee, and your take on it in as a human, as an artist, and as a man, Nat Nye.
Okay, so for a while I've been kind of looking at what the classic question of who am I, and what I came to sort of realize is there's so much to that question because you're not just one thing. You're many. There's so many experiences that make up the whole, and what you produce in terms of the world. So one of the things I looked at is self-confidence, my self-confidence, and the decisions that I would be making in terms of how I would adorn clothing or express in any type of you know, physical attribute, and started to question why I was making certain choices growing up, and also just from understanding and learning about history and about the power of media throughout history and the power of Hollywood throughout history. So going to certain types of movie breakdowns with different expert people in the community that break down movies and break down the whole spellbinding nature of Hollywood. I started to look at what I had seen or been viewing as beauty and how I'd been expressing that, because when you watch a representative of a woman on screen growing up and you like what you're seeing and you want to emulate that, you want to copy that, if it's only a woman that has no physical attributes that are shared because you're different races, you're then trying to change yourself into something you can never be. And it's not a conscious thing, it's just something that you start growing up to do. It's like when you have dolls and they're of a Caucasian nature, you're just naturally going to start thinking that if you put some extensions in your hair, or if you apply your makeup in a way that straightens your nose or does all those kind of enhances your beauty to a standard that's not naturally yours. So all these things I would start to analyze and go back in my life and think, wow, I really, you know, when I was putting on that makeup and dressing up, it wasn't really me. I was dressing up as an idea that was coming from outside of me. And I found it very empowering to accept that that's what had happened, because then I wanted to then put that in poetry form and share with others that who are more than likely going through the same call it manipulation of the media. And we need more imagery of Black beautiful women of all shades, so that, and I'm saying in positions of you know, power in terms of being everywhere, being in movies and being on TV screens, and so that young Black girls can go out seeing themselves on screen and feel relevant and know that their own form of beauty or our own form of beauty is beautiful. Standard, it's not like a comparison thing. So that's what inspired me to want to put together a piece where it addressed the journey of someone discovering that they are actually beautiful as they are, and understanding where it comes from. So the voyeur part of the poem looked at BB's innocence and her vulnerability to Hollywood, where the middle section kind of broke down that actually we're very much a longed for group. People do find us attractive, and in this kind of weird way, we've been fetishized, so secretly wanted or desired by white men, because I'd seen a statistic that I can't remember the exact statistic right now because I'm sure it's even increased, but there was a large number of Nigerian sex workers in Italy, and obviously there's a whole lot of complicated reasons that trafficking happens, but it still intrigued me that these European men were desiring Nigerian dark-skinned black women in large numbers, so that there was a demand for more and more of these women being trafficked. So I just analysed that in a way to say, well, if we're so undesirable, so the least attractive to the world in terms of some pseudoscience that's been actually put out in the past several times, then why are there Nigerian sex workers in Italy? One of the lines that I put in the poem. And then in the last section, it's kind of, well, okay, this is what the world has tried to make of us, but we know that we are the first. So we must, if everything comes from a black woman, then we must understand that our beauty did set the standard. So loving who you are is the most important thing, because how you were designed is how you're meant to be, and that's how beautiful you are. So that was
very, very important. It's sad that it needs people need affirmation of that, but it's necessary irrespective of age. What I loved I love the words that you chose. It's such a wealth of evocative, thoughtful, and even just like controlled demolition that stuck with me, because it is a wrecking ball of society, on individuals, on a collective, on a continent. But even on the most simplest level, is especially in this day and age and throughout time, that empowering messages that you're giving in both of your delivery and your wording, it's a human right. We shouldn't have to defend.
Yeah.
You should have to defend what is naturally given to you. And it's very sad that it divides a person's psyche, an individual psyche. It divides family, friends, kind of casualization of nappy hair or this hair.
Yeah.
There was something I was looking for it and I couldn't remember. I'll just tweet something. It was each to his or her own, yet being natural, selfish strength. Anything that takes and seeks to harm that, i.e. products, the bullying of our feels, is like Delilah to Samson in terms of all those elements, and it got me thinking about, it's like the irony that your natural self is your strength.
Yeah.
On the other hand, I do not judge anybody who chooses to wear their hair in a different way that's not natural to how they were born. But to pretend that the new normal, you know what I'm talking about, just to pretend that it's not natural, and people don't recognize when you have hair, natural hair, curly hair, tough hair, and the irony of it could be hair that you're hating, and the length that you're looking for, you could get from locks and your natural hair if you actually go with your natural self.
Yeah.
Mental health issues, less divisions, less money in pockets, more money in So anyway, that's why I really wanted you guys on here to explain it better than I am. But it's sad. It's unnecessary.
You're absolutely right. Yeah, you're really you're really marrying the thoughts completely, because it seems like such a trivial part of the whole picture in terms of looking at, you know, physical beauty, but it's a massive part of self-confidence, you know, knowing self and expressing your truest self, you know, physically to the world means so much, because your influence and power in that sense to others who look like you and follow you and can accept themselves as well is massive. So having on screen lack of representation is detrimental. So and yeah, and if things like that were to be tweaked, there'd be a whole shift in the mindset of so many, in terms of having the confidence to go out there and go for things that they need to. Yeah. So I don't know what Nat, you wanted to know what Nat's take was on.
Yeah, in terms of even outside of your circle and your you know, whether it's preference or natural, what can you see from the different men, the male angle to this, whether they prefer weave, extensions or natural? It's everyone's right, but I'm just like, what's the male take on this kind of female empowerment?
Oh, okay. I think that I cannot speak for men in general, but what I can say from my observation is that the those of us that call ourselves conscious, generally speaking, we're the ones who are advocating for natural hair in our women. Some more very passionately. My view is what I personally find the epitome of beauty is when I see my beautiful empress with her hair in the way she was born with. That's the pinnacle. So when I see Stella's hair in an afro, natural, or when I see black women in general, when I see black women with their natural hair and as like, I want to say one thing actually. You know, when you call it natural hair, nobody else calls their hair natural. They just call it their hair. This is an observation. But when you see our own woman with their, I just find it so beautiful. It's like it's magic to me. It's I've got a line. I forget it. It sums it up. I've got a line and I have to get the phone and go in it. But yeah, it basically sums up how I feel about a woman's natural, when it's in its natural form. And for me, I'll add, in this world where black women have been kind of casted out in terms of beauty, you have those pseudoscience that Stella mentioned, but also when you look at majority of pop culture videos, music videos, film, etc., it's changing a little bit now. You have a few representations, but I say that without negating the fact that in the 70s you did also see that as well. So in between, we're having cycles that are continually going up and down. So my point is, when you don't see much of black women with their own hair or casted in a fashion that is beautiful or seems beautiful, it's going to have a negative and adverse effect on both women and men. So when men are looking for, I remember having conversations like 10 years ago with brothers, and we love natural hair, but I realized that their natural hair was actually relaxed hair, not afro. So it seems to me that it depends on your mindset. So the more conscious brothers, they're more into the natural hair because that's we know a little bit our history and etc. The brothers who are not really into that, they don't really care, or they prefer relaxed.
Yeah, and that's the big it's really detrimental to the women feeling confident that, you know, if they express their hair naturally, they're going to be attractive to the opposite sex, the black men that they want to attract. And unfortunately, because these men are also growing up in a society that's lacking representation of beautiful black women on their TVs or anywhere, they do feel that afro hair is not attractive. There are some men that will openly say that, you know. and that's so detrimental to the women's self-esteem, because even if they were considering it, it's another thing to kind of be another hurdle to get over, to say, oh well, I don't really care if these men can't still see that this hair is beautiful. I can see.
This is it, and it's unnecessary hurdles that people put, and of course people judge, and it's who you're attracted to. But the simple fact is, me going down is what you've said. It is detrimental. And when StellaBee, you were talking about media and that kind of very toxic filter. I'll say again, for me, when we are respecting people having their own choice, making their own personal choices on their own hair, character, clothing, adornment. You're talking about lifestyle choices, partner choice. But when it's actually removed for simple things, it starts from, I think that what we're talking about, negative effect on mental health issues. Simple thing like anyone saying to you, oh, what's it called? Oh, your hair, it's not. You couldn't do this, you couldn't do that. Why isn't it smooth? Like first of all, the society media removed society from what is natural. And I think, of course, we know it's to keep the fear factor up and dependent on that insecurity so we can spend money. We get that. But for people, what you're saying is so true. To be conditioned, no pun intended, sorry, wholesale mentally, to think that you should be looking perfect every day.
Yeah.
I say again, no, I don't mind. You judge yourselves and let us, we won't judge you. Offer us the same courtesy. Of course, we know there's people who cover their hair with wigs, protective styles, alopecia, traction alopecia. We get that, but it's the judgment on so-called, I called it natural because of the context. It's a natural hair journey, natural hair movement, this nonsense debate. So I think it's very important, again, about your messaging. Now, people, we'd love, viewers, we'd love, please comment below in the video, getting what you relate to, what you don't. We love challenges. Bring it, bring it. Thank you for that. So I wanted to move on in terms of the artist struggle. Now, you guys you live and breathe your passions. You're walking the talk about, can I call you activists? Artivists?
Yes. Yeah, that's accurate.
I've seen you hashtag Artivism. So I wanted you guys to tell us about, because you're balancing so many projects, and I don't care about your money, but I'm taking it you're not getting the money that you want to survive, but you're surviving somehow. Can you tell the viewers about the challenges you face as artists and artivists, and the solutions you've applied and overcome?
Okay, so I'll start by saying the beast does not feed those who want to kill it. So that's the premise. So the system, the way it's designed, especially in the arts world, is that commercialism, well, it's capitalism, isn't it? So if you can commercialize your art, then you will be successful. So whether it's positive or negative, if the order of the day is to sell the product of a stereotype, like the black stereotype, for example, then, and that's what has been positioned as the most valuable form of art, then you'll be successful if that's what you're trying to do, or you have a greater chance of being successful, rather, more accurately. But if you're looking to shatter all of that and tapping into the spiritual realm, which is what art is actually comes from, then and money is not on your mind or a goal, then you are going to find that you're going to struggle a bit more, or a lot more rather, than artists who don't have that, who are just chasing the money and chasing the fame. So because of that, you find the different projects we are involved in and have been involved in, you find that, well, we can talk personally. We also can see that there's a community of incredible artists that really find themselves in the same position because there's not really much funding. So we will have the gun and knife crime thing that we were part of, the wall, and that was deal with that. But the funding is never good enough for us to live, like properly live, even though we're dealing with such deep psychological elements. So coming from the activists and the tapping into the essence of the arts, and you want to do that, at a certain point it comes to a realization that we need to actually survive in this capitalist world, and not even just survive but thrive. So the past 2 years we've been re-strategizing and realizing that even though in an ideal world these things wouldn't matter to us, status, wealth, the superficial, those superficial things, it matters. It matters in this capitalist world that we, in reality, that our ideal world does not exist yet. So because we've had to accept that, it means that we've had to accept also that your net worth is your network. So we've realized that yes, networking is the absolute key to being successful as an artist. So if you're incredibly talented and hardworking, but the only people that know about you are the people that can only pay you way less than your value, then that's what's going to happen. But if you are incredibly talented and hardworking, and you then realize, okay, I have to be a predator in this, and in capitalism it is filled with predators, and the biggest predators are the ones that eat the most. So we have to adopt that mentality so that we can thrive. So this is what we've been doing the past 2 years. We've been learning more about business and how to operate in that fashion, and networking with the right people, you know, so that we can elevate, and then we can affect change in the way that we can, more so than just talking about it in actual literal terms. So what I've been finding interesting is, you know, those who play the game. So JayZ and Beyoncé, for example, for a good part of the last decade, I was anti them. But the last 2 years, I've been shifting my mentality on it, and I'm thinking, what if they just played the game the whole way through until they're in a position of enough power to be able to say what they wanted to say all along? What if that is the case? I'm not saying for sure that is the case, but I'm fascinated by it. And you compare that to artists who are hardcore, no compromise, this through and through, and they've got limited ability to actually affect change, apart from when they touch the mic and in front of 30 to 50 people at a time. They're not filling up stadiums talking about Black Panther or saying we need economic empowerment. And the words carry from, if Beyonce or JayZ today said, let's set up a black bank, it would happen in seconds. If we say it today, we might all end up arguing with a lot of people or whoever we interact with. So it's recognizing that, okay, and realizing, okay, life is like chess. So we need to strategize and play chess, and compromise in certain ideals, or not compromise, but be willing to adapt so that we can thrive.
Yes. They are that's an interesting reference to what's called JayZ and I call her Bouncy Noel. They do a lot of bounce in terms of talent and dancing. You credit where it's due, and I think you're right. It is getting that foothold, building your solid foundation, and they've got a tight kind of wall front, and that's made up of it's a solid foundation of talent. But I also like that they do the less is more in terms of publicity. You know, give them a taste, but not too much.
Yeah.
And when people are hungry for their product, their talent, and their brand, of course they have to buy, they have to download to access that and feel connected. And what I do not envy about you guys as artists, whether you already have that wealth in terms of talent, in terms of bravery, of sharing your soul every day. You know, that's amazing. Whether it's Stella B, Nat Nye, Beyoncé, or JayZ or others, but it is you're in public judgment. That's a next level. And if you're going to be doing that, get a salary for it. But you're right. They got the build. Then they created Tidal when they had the power. Then you know they were able to talk about reflections of Katarina, post Black Panther. I'm saying people have been a lot of freedom to talk about things, and its timing is creative. But they wouldn't have done that if there weren't people like you. So there is a kind of freedom through your bravery and you guys spearheading for them to back you up. So they stand on your shoulders in a way, money or not. Does that make sense?
Yeah,
it's true.
So, you know, I don't envy this. And do their fans really love them, or do they want their fame? That's another thing to think about.
Great question. Yeah.
So, you know, strength to all of you, whether I rate you or not, strength to all of you. Kanye. So, what is there anything you need from in terms of viewers, in terms of your fans, in terms of connects? What kind of people do you want to connect with for your you know, collaborate with or have done and want to do
that? Sorry, could you repeat the question?
I was just like wondering, because you guys are holding your own in terms of your talent and your albums and your films and your work, but what kind of people, there might be viewers watching that would think, right, I'd love to collab with you guys. Who would you like to meet with, collaborate with, or have a meeting to get the money in?
I think
or funding.
Number one is that people who want to change the world for the better. I feel because we've got massive, huge visions and ambitions, and oftentimes people talk of doing good things. Good things take a long time. That's the narrative. Bad things now, it's seconds. So if a country wants to bomb another country, that decision is made instantly. There's no like this will happen in 50 years time, maybe we'll go and bomb this country in 50 years time or whatnot. It's like instant. So I'm like looking at that and I'm like, that doesn't make any sense. But good things can happen now. So good things can happen in our lifetime. When we witness the cycles, I think it's enough for us to say, right, we're alive right now. Let's not put all the pressure on the next generation coming up and saying, yeah, they're the ones to change the world. No, we have to change the world so that the ones that come up, they have a new world to look forward to or to lead or to take it to another level. We can't still be having the same conversations in 20 years' time. Like, so the people that we want to collaborate with or work with are those that have those ambitions that drive to change, and then we can find ways, even if it's not the quick fit. We can find ways of how we can collaborate or how we can help each other, because at the end of the day, we're human beings.
Yeah, I agree with that, because there are so many talented and gifted Black creatives who we witnessed doing collaborations as well and creating some amazing products, not just products for selling, but actually products to give to the world in terms of what you're talking about, in terms of messages that can help people heal and move forward and strive and think in ways that are more healthy. So I know by saying this out loud that, you know, things are going to come. Want to collaborate with producers, filmmakers, producers musically, and also in the world of film. You know, people that have big, expansive ideas of how to put a different message out there about Black people, about African people, artists, investors, just people that are in the creative industry and understand the power of art, and how it can shift and change and shape the world to the vision of what we actually aspire for it to be. So.
And business people that know about business, especially to do with the arts, because I feel as artists, our main focus is creating art. Business is well, us two, we're learning. So we're learning about the business side. So the more we can get on the business, you know, that yeah, when you don't know, you know, you're just working things out as you go along. But business is so important to understand.
Very true. So viewers, you're hearing this, okay? If you are any of those people that talk about, you're a creative angel with a business mind that looks beyond and knows the next step. Please get in touch. I will be putting Nat Nye's and StellaBee's links and contact details in the video below. But yeah, please connect. Lovely guest. How would you like viewers to connect with you?
The email.
Yeah, you can contact us on email, which is poetictemple@gmail.com, or we perhaps use social media, the bane of everyone's existence, but the necessity. So mine is @SmilesGoMiles, as in smiles go for miles. For my Insta, and for my Twitter, it's my name, my full name, which is Stella Gam. Yeah.
And yeah, if you Instagram Nat Nye, same email address, poetictemple@gmail.com, but Instagram Nat Nye and Twitter Nat Nye, Facebook Nat Nye. And yeah, there's a new digital platform that has come in. It's called The Floor. And when we're on that, when that becomes live, then we'll have that. So we're going to be pushing that very, very hard within the next year. And that's a place where we can get direct support. So if whoever loves what we do, you can put £3, £5, £10 a month on the floor to us, and we can do stuff in exchange, like behind the scenes or exclusive content, or what's it called, exclusive tickets to certain events. You can, you know, we're working it all out, but that is going to be very exciting. We feel that's going to be a game changer in terms of the way artists and art is valued, and we're yeah, a part of it. So excellent. When that comes, we'll be hitting up Aleakwe and Gud Vybz, and yeah.
I will make sure I share that as I'm updated. And so I have to apologize to you and viewers, because there is a serious African baseline going on with our neighbors, but we'll have to respect them because they're having a funeral party. So before it kicks off, and to honor their passing, we're going to close out with Nat Nye and one of his pieces. Thank you so much again to the both of you, Nat Nye and
Thank you.
What's it called?
Thank you, Olive. Thank you. Good vibes.
Good vibes. Bye-bye. So shout out to Gud Vybz. It's been an absolute pleasure. I hope we can reconnect and have an interview again very soon.
Very soon. So what piece are you going to close us out with?
So it's called Poetic Temple, and it's from the EP Poetic Temple. Wake up, wake up, wake up. The sun ignites my soul. I am charged. The days are feast, and I'm ready to eat. But why am I not tired? Artists work 24/7. I use sleep as an opportunity to astral body travel through Stargate portals, waking up in the middle of the night to write the scenes I've seen in my dreams. I go deep, like a submarine. My purpose is to dive below the surface. To be specific, the great depths of the Atlantic is where I spend my dream time studying the remnants of Atlantis. But before I go further, let me explain why I don't have materialistic visions of popping Dom Perignon and using women's asses as champagne glasses. I've been past this since the scene in the fasting grasp me left me empty. The opening of a black hole within my insides when I tried to do a 9 to 5, get drunk on a Friday night and live a generic life. Listen, we are all